There was a point when I felt like I was ready to give up. I felt like I'd tried everything on YouTube, but nothing seemed to work. The problem was not me. It was because I hadn't listened to God's plan. Your ordinary life. You wake up with only a few hours of sleep. Depressed, you start scrolling TikTok and feel weird the entire rest of the day. Gen Z is the most depressed and lost generation, according to what they say. So this is how we can start changing that claim. I had been busy going through the motions, trying to be filled through minor successes daily, but every single day feeling lost. Then one day, I decided that I needed to step into my local gym, and I got a free pass, and this is when everything started changing. I still questioned myself and if I was going to actually stay consistent, but I felt like it was the time to change. And so I want to ask you a question. Have you ever wondered if there's a bigger plan for your own life? One that you just haven't even thought over yet. I had resisted for way too long. I was holding back from my true potential because I was rejecting His plan for my life. So I had fear of the unknown. I did not know what was going to happen to me. I did not know where I was going to be the next day, right? You never know what is going to happen the next day. But I had to just focus on the now. I had to focus on the then, and I had to live in the moment. I had to actually think about, okay, what is future me going to thank me now for doing? And that was things like going to the gym. That was things like doing the hard things in the morning actually disciplined myself and made me thank my past self over and over again. I kept thinking, what if I'm wrong? What if this path leads me nowhere? But the more I resisted, the more lost I would feel. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all of your ways, submit to Him, and He will make your paths smooth and straight. Digging into prayer and trust in God helps me to take a leap of faith and to trust in God's plan, that His was actually greater than my own. That I could not come up with the right kind of plan because I didn't know my path. Only He did. Only He knew my path. I was stepping into the unknown, but I had faith that it was going to work out. If I had faith as small as a mustard seed, I could move a mountain. So I needed to have faith as small as a mustard seed to be able to trust His plan. Separating from the unknown, this is where I learned the first lesson, which is humility. I had to level the importance of myself. I had to see others as more important and literally tell myself that I did not know much, that I had not achieved much, and that this was the start of me achieving and me learning and me becoming. Because a lot of us think we are somewhere. We think we are something, when we really have a long way to go, a lot of growing in God to do. And so I had to humble myself in this. I had to have humility because that is what Jesus did. And He knew the most biblical principles, not just because He was God, but because He's willing to humble Himself daily. He's willing to not fall into temptation, and He resisted temptation. And so this is what I started looking up to. I realized that my pride and my desire to be great was actually holding me back. As I stepped into these uncomfortable places, like the gym 6 days a week, God actually started bringing about people. He started bringing people to me, showing me that I was in the right place. He even brought a YouTube friend that started helping me with going over my videos and telling me what I could do better. God knew that I already did YouTube. God knew that I loved that. And so he brought somebody along in the good habits that I was already doing. I was working so hard and staying consistent in the gym, staying consistent in reading, but I didn't see many results. Building a long-distance relationship, there's no shortcuts to seeing each other. I had to wait. I had to work at YouTube without seeing results. And this is where I started developing the second lesson learned, which is patience. When results aren't seen, you haven't failed enough. Through learning a biblical kind of patience, failure could be a joy. Galatians 6:9 says, "And let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up." Waking up at 5 a.m. was a daily habit now. That cold water hitting my face could make me think of all the things that Jesus has already done for me. One day I was journaling in my room during this period of growth and broke down crying. I was surprised because I never really cry anymore, just haven't struggled with it. I wanted to succeed, but I didn't feel like it was working. It felt like I was a seed. It actually has to dig deep to go down into the ground before it can sprout. And this is where the third lesson comes into play: bearing fruit. Just as the tree being planted, I knew I could still one day bear fruit in the right season, but I had to wait for that season to come. It felt lonely. There was not much to do about it. But pray. Devote trust, ignite the hope I had in his plan. My plans, they always fail. They will always overwhelm me. And so I rooted myself back on the rock, on the cornerstone of why I do YouTube, the direct place I find meaning. A sense of complete peace rushed over me that day. Every single day, I wake up with peace directly from God. I realized that by embracing God's plan, I was becoming. God's plan was helping me become who I was meant to be. I just had to follow it. The biggest reward wasn't an external thing. It was everything inside, the fire that started to kindle inside of me. And so I continued to grow, and I saw that this was just the beginning. This is why I'm recording this video right now, for you, so that you can see the kind of God that I follow. If you can follow the plan and the purposes that Jesus has already set up for you, you can be successful, and you can see that those are the right kind of plans. I promise you that you can find hope and faith in what he is doing for you and live within the guidelines he has set for you. Start today. Start your journey today. Start trusting in God's plan today. If you'd like to see how I struggled to grow on YouTube and the lessons I learned inside of creating my YouTube channel, I have a video right here, and I will see you there.